All right, we're going to do a review of Unit 6. So we're going to start with input and output tables. So just a reminder, usually what you'll get is a table that looks something like this. And it'll have a rule up here like y equals 6x. And then you'll have this split, and it'll be x here and y here. And you might start out with something like 0, 1, 2, 3. It may even go on to 4 or 5. We'll go ahead and go on to 4 with this one. And it may have some of the answers already in for you. So it may have 0 and 24. I just want to remind you of a couple things with input and output charts. First of all, your x is going to be your input for this. So it's what you're putting into the equation. And your y is going to be your output. So what they're asking you to do is to plug in each one of these numbers into 6x and find out what the y equals. Remember that when you have 6x, it means 6 times x, but they bump it together so that you don't have too many x's in there, okay? So the first number that they give you for x, and again, we're looking at x, this is our input. We're going to input x into our machine. It is 1. The process is 6 times 1, and 6 times 1 equals 6. Therefore, our output, or our y, is 6. I know that it can be confusing because they put the y on this side, but it doesn't matter which side it's on. The output is the answer. So if it equals y, the output is the answer. So this is showing you this is x and this is y. All right, now they want you to put 2 in for x. So 6 times 2 equals 12. So y would equal 12. And then put in 3. 6 times 3 equals 18. Therefore, y equals 18. Okay, so you are going to see some input-output charts. Some of them may be only one step. Some of them may be more than one step. Just remember that you're substituting in the number for x into the equation. All right, next you're going to see some equations where you have to find out what the answer is for x. So let's do this one. 6x minus 9 equals 13. No, 15. And they want you to figure out what x equals. I've shown you guys this before. What I do is I split my equation at the equal sign because this shows the two sides of the equation. And we have to keep the equation balanced. So whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other side of the equation. We look at each term in the equation and what's being done to it. So for instance, in this situation, if 9 is being subtracted, we're going to add 9 to both sides of the equation. What this does is it's 6x minus 9 plus 9. It zeroes these out. This equals 0. Again, it's 6x minus 9 plus 9. If you're subtracting 9 and then you're adding 9 back, it zeroes itself out. So you have 6x minus 0, which is the same as 6x. And if you add 9 to 15, 9 and 5 is 14. 4 carry the 1, 24. So 6x equals 24. Remember we talked about this earlier, that if the number and the variable are bumped up against each other, it means multiplication. We now have to divide to get that x by itself, because remember our goal is to get x by itself. When we divide 6 divided by 6, we end up with 1x. Now the thing about it is that just like we don't need to say 1 Mississito or 1 Victor or 1 Izzy or whatever, x has its own name. We don't have to put a 1 in front of it. X is just x. We don't have to say 1x equals. 24 divided by 6, and this, remember the fraction bar means divided by as well. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So x equals 4. The way that we can find out if this is true or not is by actually solving with 4 in the equation. So if we do 6 times 4 minus 9, we should end up with 15. So let's see if that's what happens. 6 times 4 is 24 minus 9. 24 minus 9 is 15. So our answers are the same. So we know that our x is correct. Some of these equations you'll get multi-step and some of them will be single step. You may have something like 4x equals 16. 4x equals 16. And if you have something like 4x equals 16, then all you have to do is divide both sides by 4, and x equals 4. Or if you already know that 4 times 4 is 16, you would know that x equals 4. All right, another type of question that you're going to have is going to be related to the order of operations. So remember our order of operations call these triple O's. Order of operations is completed in this order: GEMDAS. So we start out with our groupings and we work from the inside out. Then we have exponents. Then we do multiplication and division from left to right, and addition and subtraction from left to right. So in something like this, let's do 3 plus 6 plus 3 times 2 divided by 1. If we start, we look first to see if we have any groupings. Because we don't have any groupings, we look to see if we have any exponents. We do not have any exponents, so our next step, or our first step, is going to be to do multiplication from left to right. So when we move from left to right, our first multiplication fact is going to be 3 times 2. So when we write this out, 3 times 2 is 6, so we would have 3 plus 6 plus 6 divided by 1. The next step is to do division from left to right. So we're going to do 6 divided by 1. When we do 6 divided by 1, we now end up with 3 plus 6 plus 6, because 6 divided by 1 is 6. Now we can do addition from left to right. So we start on the left side and we go from left to right. So the first thing we're going to encounter is 3 plus 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. So that's where we're going to start. And we will have 9 plus 6. Our final step is to finish out the addition, and 9 plus 6 is 15. So the answer to 3 plus 6 plus 3 times 2 divided by 1 is 15. Another type of question that you're going to see on the test is one that asks you to select prime numbers. It is important for you to remember the difference between prime and composite. Prime numbers only have 2 factors. So 2 numbers multiplied together equal that number. And the 2 factors are 1 and itself. Composite numbers have more than 2 factors. So they have 1 and itself, but they also have other ones. So when we look at any even number other than 2, all of those are going to be composites because they're going to have more than 2 factors. The reason that 2 would be a prime number is because 2 has only 1 times 2. So 1 and 2 are the factors. 4 has 1 times 4, but it also has 2 times 2. So its factors are 1, 2, and 4. 2 is prime, 4 is composite. So we can test to see if a number is prime or composite by looking at the number of factors that they have, and you should have kind of filled that out on a hundreds chart or watched it being filled out on a hundreds chart. So anything that is divisible by 2 is going to be composite. So that's going to be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and that goes on and on all the way through 100. Numbers that are divisible by 3 are composite. 3, 6, 9. You can see here that it's not just even numbers. 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, and on and on and on. Numbers that are divisible by 4. These numbers will have been hit by anything with 2. So you can say 4, 8, 12. You can see that these are up here. 4, 8, 12. So you don't have to redo all the ones that were hit by 4. 5, you will want to make sure that anything that ends in a 0 or a 5, so anything that ends in a 0 or a 5 is divisible by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and on and on and on. So these are all the composite numbers. Anything that is divisible by 6. So if it's divisible by 2 and 3 together, it is divisible by 6. So it will have more than one factor. So that's going to be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, and it keeps going on and on. 7, you just have to kind of go through with 7 and look to see which ones are already on a list, but it's going to give you 7, 14, 21, 28. And when you keep going, one that's not going to be on any of the other lists is like 49. 8, if it's divisible by 2 or 4, it's divisible by 8. So it has factors. 8 would be a factor, 2 and 4 would be factors. So again, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and on and on. Remember with the 9s, it's going to be whatever is in the ones column. So added with the tens column equals 9. So you have 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63. And again, if it's in the 3s, it's going to be in the 9s. And then 10s, anything that ends in 10 is going to be have factors of 10 and 5 for certain. And 11, I think that there's like one that's in the 11s, like 99, maybe one that's going to be hit by the 3s. So those are all composite numbers. One and 0 are neither composite nor prime. So if it asks you for 1 or 0, they are not composite or prime. And then prime numbers are numbers like 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, and the list goes on and on. You should have recorded again up through 100 which ones are prime. So again, they have only 2 factors, 1 and itself. All right, so we're actually going to go over GEMDAS with some parentheses and brackets, just so that you can be reminded of how to do GEMDAS when you have parentheses and brackets. So we're going to do 4, times, let's do 64 divided by 8 plus let's do plus 9 times, and this will be a bracket, 6 minus let's do 12 divided by 4 parenthesis bracket. All right, so again, GEMDAS, I'm going to go down the side. We start with our groupings and we work from the inside out. So we start with our parentheses and we're going to start inside the brackets and we're going to work our way outwards. So we're going to start with 12 divided by 4. So that leaves us with 4 times 64 divided by 8 parenthesis plus 9 bracket times 6 minus, well, 12 divided by 4 is 3. So we've done the first set of parentheses. That's where we start. Now we have to continue inside the brackets. So we're going to go ahead and do 4 times 64 divided by 8 plus 9 times 6 minus 3 is 3. At this point, we're finished with that part of the equation, and we're going to move on to the second set of parentheses. So we're going to work on the second set of parentheses right now, which is 64 divided by 8. So we're going to say 4 times 64 divided by 8 is 8 plus 9 times 3. We've now completed all of the groupings that we need to complete. So we're going to go ahead and cross off groupings. We don't have any exponents. Remember that exponents are these little things that are up here. That's an exponent. So we're just going to skip over the exponents because we don't have any. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to multiplication from left to right, and then division from left to right. So I'm going to start with multiplication from left to right. 4 times 8 is 32 plus 9 times 3. I'm going to go ahead and go back in and do the other multiplication. So I'll have 32 plus 27. I don't have any division, but I do have addition. So now I can come in and add 32 plus 27. 7 plus 2 is 9. 3 plus 2 is 5. So my answer is 59. I don't have any subtraction, so I am finished working out this expression. All right, let me look and see if there's anything else that I need to cover for you. And I think that's it. Hopefully this will help you review for your test. So Unit 6 test is due tomorrow. Good luck.